Hi everyone! Today I want you to picture a task as seemingly simple as tying your shoes feeling impossible, because that's how it is for individuals with autism spectrum disorders. But luckily there are occupational therapists there to bridge the gap. According to the CDC, in 2025, the ratio of individuals on the autism spectrum disorder was 1 in 31 at age 8 years. Now there's about 20 of you in this room, but imagine if I added 10 more. One of you would have autism. Now, you might not know what occupational therapy is, which is very valid. So an occupational therapist is there to help individuals with disabilities or have gone through a life-altering accident, make their life easier and provide strategies to adapt. So you might be wondering why I wanted to get involved in this. So about 3 years ago I started volunteering with my high school special education classroom, and our classroom was placed right next to the OT's office, and so I got to see the OT work one-on-one with many of the students that I knew, and I also got to see how the skills that she taught them relay into the classroom. So through this, I became super close friends with a boy with autism named Dion. He's become my best friend, and he has done occupational therapy. So through my relationship with him and the kids in the classroom, I've been able to see how OT really plays a role, and with my wanting to do psychology, going on the pre-OT track is just perfect. So that's why I'm here today, to be discussing how occupational therapy provides skills to enhance independence, gives sensory processing techniques, and assists families in making an autism-friendly home. So first of all, an occupational therapist promotes independence. According to Gold Star Rehabilitation in 2025, an occupational therapist provides gross motor skills. So these involve like the big muscles, so like your arms and your legs, and they just promote strength and balance. So a few activities that an occupational therapist might do with their patient is like help them learn how to jump rope or hopscotch or throwing and catching a ball. And then another type of muscles that an occupational therapist will work with is fine motor skills. So this involves the smaller muscles like in your hands. So for example, with this, it might be tying your shoes or learning to use a pair of scissors. And using these skills like scissors will promote precision and hand control. And then lastly, another skill that an occupational therapist might do with its client is cooking. Now, cooking involves so many smaller pieces. It involves like measuring ingredients. It involves basic math skills. When you're using a tablespoon, you're reinforcing these fine motor skills by using the muscles in your hand to scoop and put in. It also like improves like kitchen awareness, like using a stove, being safe in the oven, washing your hands, cleaning dishes, like being safe around raw materials. Like it reinforces so many skills in one. But besides just independence, occupational therapists also play a role in sensory processing techniques. So you might not know what this is, but individuals with autism might be more sensitive to certain stimuli, like certain movements or textures or sounds, or just like visual aids, like a bright light bulb being on me. So that's where an occupational therapist there is to help. So according to an article in NeuroLaunch in 2025, there are many different types of sensory issues. So first, we're gonna start with vestibular. So vestibular is the motion of, could be moving back and forth, sideways. You might see individuals with autism stim by rocking back and forth, and this is where these items come into play. They help them regulate themselves just like you and I regulate ourselves. So, you and I might regulate ourselves by taking a deep breath, but for them it's different. Next, another technique that an OT might use for a type of issue is a texture issue. So just like my high school counselor, she used to have this huge tub of stress toys that you could play with. They had all different textures, all different sizes. You could squeeze, you could touch, you could pull, whatever you wanted. And occupational therapists will have this. It's just to expose them to different textures to make them comfortable. Next could be auditory or visual stimuli. So, for example, you might know somebody with autism who hums. They might hum to themselves, they might sing, or they might script under their breath. But that's just their way of self-regulating and adjusting their body. They might also have visual issues. So one way that an OT might manage this is doing like a smartboard. So you're able to, they're able to visualize what they're thinking, what's in their mind, what they might want to say, and also with their hands. So it's involving so many techniques in one for a visual organization that helps them self-regulate. And not only does occupational therapy help with sensory processing techniques, but an OT will also work with the family, and this part is so essential. So just like you and I, when we learn in school, we have homework afterwards, and the homework is to reinforce the ideas that we learned in school. And occupational therapists will work with the family so that the family is able to reinforce what they learned in OT and make it routine. Like, it's when I was taking calculus in high school, and I thought that I could learn in school, not do my homework, and do well on the tests. It doesn't work that way. You must reinforce these ideas so it becomes a routine. Also, so one way you might be able to do this is to use a PECS board. This stands for Picture Exchange Communication System. So as you can see, sorry, it's kind of blurry, but as you can see, it's a way to really just visualize, map out, and to sort what you're doing and have a schedule for your day. So it's really great for reinforcement of ideas. Next, an OT will work with the family to understand their sensory needs, what they need help with. So according to an article in Occupational Therapy and Healthcare Journal in 2011, understanding an individual with autism's needs really will help the family. So just like, for example, like I know one student who would only eat his grilled cheese if it was grilled to a specific amount. So he would only eat if it was super crispy. If the family was able to recognize that, the textures that he's sensitive to, the lights he's sensitive to, if there's a certain like whirring, if they're able to recognize that, it all aids in helping prevent a meltdown. So from this, I hope you all understand how occupational therapy plays a role in providing independence for the individual, assisting in finding sensory processing techniques, and aiding the family in adjusting to an autism-friendly home. But looking past that, occupational therapy instills skills in them that promotes confidence and integration through each small step, whether it's learning how to tie your shoes, or whether it's, being able to play with the kids at recess and hopscotch. It shows life past a diagnosis of autism and a life with possibilities. So I hope you all enjoyed my speech.